Good afternoon. It's August 15th. It's 1 p.m. on August 15th. And I'm back making another video of another ride over to Cape May. I'm starting this ride at the top of the West Cape May Canal Bridge. And you can see a couple of boats coming up the canal. And I thought I would give an update on the COVID situation down here, because unfortunately it's not good. I don't have any real point of interest to show on this ride. So I'm starting here and I'm going to ride over through town just to also show how crowded town is in the middle of August. It's 81 degrees today. It was supposed to be cloudy all day, but it's only partially cloudy. It's a nice beach day. So as I said, it's 81 degrees, and the heat index is also 81. We've had a spell of some really hot days in the past week, with the heat index exceeding 100 degrees. So it's a nice day today, nice day for a ride. A good bit of traffic coming over the bridge now. So anyway, I'll start giving an update on the COVID situation, which, as I said, is not good, and I think it's actually think it's even worse than the data indicates. The data that I talk about on these videos I get from the Cape May County coronavirus dashboard. It's updated regularly. And as of yesterday, there were 462 active cases of COVID in Cape May County, and every community in the county is reporting some level of new cases. Lower Township and Middle Township have about 108 of those new cases each. But as I said, every community, Cape May City, West Cape May Point, all of these communities have COVID in them. To give you some perspective, 4 weeks ago, and I think I may have actually talked about this on a video, 4 weeks ago there were 28 active cases in the county, and now there are 462 or 464. So I think that represents about a 17-fold increase in the number of cases in the last little under 4 weeks, which is about a 1,700% increase in less than a month's time. And as I said, I think the number of cases is actually far greater than that which is being reported on the dashboard by the county. And I'll explain why I feel that. First, the Delta variant of COVID is in the county, and that's not me saying that. That's right on the county health department website. So Delta is here, and even though 60% of the population in Cape May County is vaccinated, we know that there are breakthrough cases where vaccinated people are still infected, by the Delta variant. Now, oftentimes that infection is extremely mild or asymptomatic. So, given the fact that there's no systematic testing in place, the number of new cases that are being reported by the county are obviously reflective of people that have gotten tested. And if you're asymptomatic, you're probably not even going to bother getting tested if you're asymptomatic and vaccinated. So I think that there are more cases out in the community for sure than are being reported. And I've seen national experts talk about this phenomena, and they suggest that it could be significantly greater. Also, the county, in my judgment, is not doing a great job today in testing. If you want to get a test in Lower Township down here, and I'll explain why I say this, because my wife got tested yesterday. She is fully vaccinated, and I am fully vaccinated. But her father is not in good health. He's 86 or 87 years old, and he has advanced COPD, and he's just not in very good health, as someone his age and with his health condition you would expect. But my wife, I think, has a cold, but in an effort to be extra careful and in an abundance of caution, wanted to get tested before she sees him, which she does almost every day, almost every single day, and she goes and checks on him and sees him, and she didn't want to go be in his company when she has symptoms. Now, the symptoms, as I said, are not what you would find as COVID symptoms, but she just wants to be extra careful, so she decided, I'm going to get a test before I go see him. And she went on the Cape May County website, looked for testing, and if you go to that website, you'll see 9 large blocks of categories of issues to discuss. And if you look down, you'll see that the 8th block is testing. They talk about primarily the vaccine, why you should get a vaccine, where you can get a vaccine, mobile vaccine clinics, who should get a vaccine, questions and answers about the vaccine. It's all about the vaccine, and at the very bottom, or next to last, is COVID testing. And at the start of the pandemic, testing was the huge issue, if you think back. I mean, everybody was talking about not being able to get tests early in 2020. And I think what has happened is health department officials probably thought that they were over the hump on COVID and de-emphasized testing and emphasized vaccines, not realizing that the Delta variant was on its way and was going to spread rapidly through this community. So when she went on there to look for testing, I guess I'll just, sort of cut to the chase of this. We ended up having to drive yesterday to Bridgeton. Bridgeton is 52 miles from here. It's halfway to Philadelphia. And for my wife and I, we can handle that. Not really a big problem. We just, we're used to driving back and forth from Montgomery County, Pennsylvania down to Cape May. So, a 1 hour and 10 minute ride up and a 1 hour and 10 minute ride back is not a big deal. And I'm at the Cove, and you can see how crowded it is here. I'm going to turn around. So we drove up to Bridgeton, but to the elderly residents of Cape May County, Bridgeton might as well be on the other side of the moon. They're not going to, in fact, many of them cannot drive that distance. They just can't do it. So, and I'm not going to go into all the reasons why we weren't able to get her scheduled for a test down here. They give you certain options where to go to get tested on the website, on the county website. And of course, my wife went through each one of those options. And one was, as an example, one was to go to an urgent care facility at the foot of the parkway. So she called over there to see if she needed an appointment, and she went to an answering machine, so she left her number to call back. And that was at about 7:30 in the morning yesterday, on Friday. That was 7:30 in the morning on Friday. She hadn't heard anything back from them by about 2:30, so she called again, and she got somebody live time, and they said that they only do testing after 6 p.m. and that she would need an appointment. So they took her number and said, we will call you back and let you speak with somebody, because before you come in, you need to do a telehealth conference with one of the doctors. And they said, we'll have one of the doctors call you back and you can do this telehealth, and then they will give you an appointment to come in after 6 to get tested. Well, that was at about 2:30 on Friday, and it's a little after 1 on Sunday. We still haven't heard from them. Another example of something was to go to a pharmacy in the area. And I won't mention the name of the pharmacy because it's not important, but my wife spoke with the pharmacy, and they directed her to go to a place north of Atlantic City. And they said with the increase in demand for testing, coupled with their being short-staffed, which I've talked about many times, how there's a severe labor shortage down here, and I've said it on many, many occasions that it's affecting all businesses, not just restaurants. The pharmacy said they didn't have the staff to handle the testing, so they were directing her to a place north of Atlantic City. She called the place north of Atlantic City, and they told her she would have to wait several days because they are dealing with the flow of all the people from the southern part of the state coming up there for tests. There's a couple of other options that I won't bother going through all the minutiae details of, but bottom line is she managed to get an appointment on Saturday yesterday, and she made this appointment on Friday, and the closest one she could get was in Bridgeton. As I said, it's 52 miles from North Cape May. So I can only conclude that if my wife was having that kind of a problem getting tested, that other people were as well. And when people are not tested, and unless they're really feeling sick, they're out in the community. And this Delta variant is extremely contagious. For those that follow any of the literature on this, it has an estimated R-naught of 7 to 9, which is extremely high, a little higher than the chicken pox, actually. So that sort of led me to believe that there's a lot more people that are positive for COVID than the data indicates. And then another item that I saw, I guess, was you can see how it's pretty crowded. Town is pretty crowded. A local restaurant in North Cape May, Harpoons on the Bay, which I've driven past many times, they put a message on their Facebook page on Friday morning that they were not opening up Friday because one of their employees got the results of a test on Friday morning. I don't know when they took that test or where they took it, but they tested positive, and that person was working on Thursday. So they shut the restaurant down on Friday, and I think they had plans to get all their employees tested and open up for the weekend, but they posted an update on the Facebook page, and the update basically said that they were staying closed for the weekend because they weren't able to get their employees tested. And these are no doubt altar servers and a priest from Our Lady Star of the Sea. Today is a holy day of obligation for the Catholic faith. It's a Feast of the Assumption, and Our Lady Star of the Sea Catholic Church is up ahead on the left, as I've pointed out many times. And they actually, after the, I don't know what Mass, I guess after the 12 o'clock Mass or so, they walk down with a wreath in the ocean. You can see they're carrying a statue of the Blessed Virgin going onto the mall there now. But in any event, Harpoons on the Bay said that they were remaining closed for the weekend and couldn't give an update as to when they would reopen because they were having difficulty getting their staff tested. And I think I should just say also about testing, as I think everybody knows, there's two types of tests. There's the rapid test and then there's the PCR test. And the rapid test, which you get results right away or relatively quickly, same day, they have a 40% rate of false negatives. So if you get the rapid test and you test positive, you have COVID. But if the rapid test is negative, there's still a 40% chance that you do have COVID, but you tested negative. So people that would get a rapid test negative and not quarantine are going to be going out in the community and potentially transmitting the virus. The test that my wife got, the PCR test, they told her yesterday that it would be 3 to 5 days before she would get the results. And as I said, she is I guess you could say she's symptomatic. She has, really, I think she just has a summer cold. She doesn't have a fever. She doesn't have a sore throat. She just, has a clogged up head. And when she speaks, I mean, you can see her head is clogged. So, the situation is, I'm afraid, not good for COVID down here. You're starting to see more and more people masking up. But you can see it's a pretty busy environment here. So it's the rate of new cases for the past 5 days have been in excess of 40 new cases, confirmed cases per day. And the last time Cape May County was experiencing 40 confirmed new cases per day was in February of 2020. So at the onset of of the pandemic. This is a line for hot dogs, believe it or not. I've never had a hot dog from Hot Dog Tommy's, but I can't imagine how good they must be to make people want to stand in a line and wait probably 30 minutes. We went out to dinner earlier in the week, and the restaurants were, this was before my wife woke up with a head cold. Right now we're trying to be responsible and self-quarantine, or at least she is, until she gets the results of the test. But I will be shocked if she tests positive. She is vaccinated, as I think I mentioned, as am I. And I have no symptoms, and I'm sure she just has a head cold. She was at a birthday party for my youngest grandchild back in about a week and a half ago. And there were several kids there that had a cold. So anyway, I don't know where this is leading. I don't know what kind of restrictions the state governor of New Jersey might reimpose because of the increase in cases. But there is an unmistakable surge in cases down here, and thus far there's no mask mandate down here. There's, I think, a lot of businesses, probably 75% of the businesses require a mask to enter their facility. You can see how this is Congress Hall. You can see how crowded everything is. So that's sort of it. That's an update on COVID, I guess. Nothing that you couldn't get yourself if you just went to the Cape May County coronavirus dashboard. you don't really see that information very widely disseminated down here. And it's an interesting home. I don't recall ever passing by this home before. And it kind of disturbs me a little bit because I guess we all probably have a little bit of a conspiracy theorist in our brain, and I am wondering to myself if they're not publicizing that as widely as perhaps they should, because the business community really does not want it published as widely as it probably should be. As I said many times, the businesses here suffered greatly in 2020 financially, and many went under and were not able to survive 2020. And I think many more were probably on the cusp of going under. And if they were to lock them down again, they probably wouldn't survive. So they're probably reluctant to publicize this data too widely, thinking that it would cause people to either stay away and not come down for their vacation, or when they do come down to not go to the restaurants as much as they otherwise would. This is across the street is a restaurant that my wife and I like to go to, Sapori. In fact, that's the restaurant that we went to early in the week before my wife had the head cold. And it was packed. It was absolutely packed. So anyway, enough for this update. I will end this video, and since I'm out on the bike and heading back over to North Cape May, I will record that ride as well, consistent with what I've done in the past. So anyway, thanks for watching. This is midday, 1:30 or so on August 15th, and I'm in Cape May, New Jersey. Thanks for watching.